right, we are happy, guys, to have, for the second time, back on the show. It's been a long time, though, so I'm really excited about this. Curt Marvis is CEO and co-founder of QYOU Media. You got to go back to 2019 since the last time we've talked to Curt and everyone at QYOU Media. They are a media-focused company who is focusing right now on the market of India and continue to focus on growing themselves with the world's top influencers. As I mentioned, we are very happy to have CEO and co-founder Curt Marvis back on the show for the second time. It's great to see you, Curt. Welcome back. It's been
good to see you, Brent.
Yeah, it's been a few years, as I was mentioning. Hope all is well. If anyone is maybe unfamiliar with QYOU Media, why don't we just start off with a little introduction to the company and how things have been for the past couple of years.
Sure. Yeah, QYOU Media was named because we were going to queue up the best YouTube videos. As you can see behind me here, I had a long history with MTV back when I was much younger, producing videos for lots of bands that we all know and recognize. And YouTube, decades later, became what I would argue the MTV of a new generation in terms of it defining what they were watching, what they were interested in, et cetera. So when we started with this idea, we were going to queue up the best of YouTube because there was so much content that was on that platform. This is before TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all these other platforms that exist today. So our business is all wrapped around the curation and packaging of the best of what's in social video. That's really what we do. And the biggest country that we do it in, the primary place that we've changed our business since I was last on here, is India. And that's where our focus is today.
An absolutely massive potential and a huge market. You know, we've seen the likes of Apple recently, shifting more and more of their production to India. We'll touch on the market and the potential here in a second, but I want to talk a little bit about the past couple of years because, I mean, everyone's well aware of what happened. COVID presented monumental challenges for businesses of all sizes. How have things changed throughout the past couple of years for QYOU Media? And talk a little bit about how the company pivoted during COVID.
Well, I think that when we started with this concept, we actually, when I last was on here, we were distributing in over 25 different countries. And it wasn't really working anywhere because we misread the market in terms of the specificity of in India, those kids want to watch Indian creators' videos. In France, they want to watch French creators' videos. In Mexico, Mexican creators' videos. And in India, it has the largest young population of any country in the world, 650 million people 25 years of age or younger, 850 million 35 years of age or younger. And so we zeroed in on India because we saw an opportunity there that there was this mass population of young people. Their consumption of social video content is among the largest of any place in the world with the possible exception of China. And so we zeroed in on India, focused all of our business efforts there, and it's starting to bear fruit. COVID, look, it caused a pause for everyone in mid-2020. We saw things turn around for us at the end of 2020. And to put it in perspective, in 2020 as a business, these are in Canadian dollars, we did 2.6 million in revenue as a business in 2020. We did 13.6 million in revenue in 2021, and we're projecting that we'll do 30 million in revenue this year in 2022. So that gives you an idea of what our trajectory has been over the last couple of years.
And that alone, I want to emphasize this point, that alone, given the conditions that we've had for the past couple of years, is a monumental achievement. So congratulations to everyone in the team at QYOU Media. Let's talk about the latest offering, and that is the Q Play platform launched recently. And this is the direct-to-consumer market aimed, which is projected to be a $100 billion market by 2025. What can we expect with the Q Play platform?
Yeah, that's a $100 billion market just in the country of India. And direct-to-consumer has really been driven by the creators and influencers that we work with. These are the kids that start to have communities and followers that they're beginning now to directly transact with. I'm sure anybody who's watching right now who's under 35 years of age or younger has seen on Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever where they're directly buying things from the people that they're following or watching on those platforms. Same phenomenon is taking place in India. Q Play that we recently announced takes all 5 of our channels now in India, bundles them into one free app. You don't have to register, you just download it, but it begins to produce a direct relationship between us and our viewership. Now, our viewership, if we'd been speaking 2 years ago, was in the single-digit millions in India on a weekly basis. We now reach about 125 million people in India who view Q-branded content every single week. We call that our loudspeaker. So a lot of what we're doing with Q Play and with some future announcements you'll see coming from us is we're starting to drive into that $100 billion plus direct-to-consumer market in India because we have the ability to reach that audience.
Let's talk about the creator economy here. It's a term that we've started to hear more and more over the past even 3 to 5 years, where we've really seen this kind of ramp to the upside and become a pivotal part of ad spending campaigns, regardless of the size at this point. Where do you see the creator economy as of today, and where can we expect it to go in the next 3 to 5 years as well?
Well, I think when we talk, just the fact that we're calling it the creator economy, I think is indicative of how big it's become. It started when we started this business, creators, as they're now known as, or influencers, were called YouTubers because that was the only platform that was there. With TikTok now, there's not a brand on the planet that when they're trying to figure out what they're going to do to reach an audience of young people is not planning on using TikTok as a platform that they're going to be advertising on. Same is true of Instagram, same is true of Snapchat, same is true of YouTube. So these social video platforms have become an essential part of the advertising world and of the content viewership world. Years ago, when I was doing MTV, this is when cable and satellite was exploding. People were seeing new channels about music videos or cooking or fashion or whatever they might have been. In today's world, everybody's watching the content that's happening on their phones on these social video platforms. So we feel like we're uniquely positioned with the massive audience that exists around this, not just currently, but this is going to keep growing and growing and growing. And that's why our business is completely targeting everything that happens along those platforms.
Let's take a little bit of a look forward here, Curt, as we make our way into the final quarter of the year. What can investors expect here from QYOU Media to wrap up not only 2022, but what hopefully will be a much better year to come in the next few?
Yeah, look, we feel like we're not the only business, but we're among many businesses where our growth trajectory is kind of decoupled from our share price right now. We were trading at 12 to 15 times revenue going back 18 months when we had a fraction of the viewership, a fraction of the content, a fraction of the penetration that we have today. Everything that revolves around our share price and our corporate value revolves around what's happening in the overall markets. Well, we're going to keep growing. Every quarter this year in 2022 is going to be a record-breaking quarter for us from a revenue perspective. Everything that we're teeing up now with Q Play and some other initiatives that we'll be announcing soon is targeting this direct-to-consumer push that we're going to be making in 2023 and beyond. And so our feeling is that what's happening in India, we talk about all the time, how what took place in China over the last couple of decades, we believe, and we're not alone in this belief, is going to be what's happening in India over the next couple of decades. India is going to become a powerhouse economically, technologically, and otherwise, much more so than it is today. We think we're in a position to ride that wave. QYOU, guys, or QYOU on the Venture Exchange here in Toronto, guys. Go check out QYOU Media. Curt Marvis is co-founder and CEO of the company. Always a pleasure, Curt. Thanks for doing this once again. Okay, great seeing you, Brendan. Thanks for having me.
Take care.